Welcome on in to the Big Play Cleveland Show, coming to you guys from our studios here at Burke Lakefront Airport. I'm Nick Padone. Chris McNeil hanging out in the studio with me as well. What a fun week that we're coming off of. Great weekend out at the Colleague Companies Championship. Chris, your guy, the guy that made the moniker famous behind you in the show every week, got the job done at Colleague.
Congrats to Miguel Jimenez. He goes out, captures the crown in a playoff there. So just a fantastic tournament. Boy, it couldn't have turned out any better for those folks over there. It was fun being out there during the week, all of our shows, being able to see all our fans out there, all the fans of golf, and really get up and personal with all these different golfers all week. So a lot of fun there. And then speaking of close and personal, you guys also went to the David Njoku Celebrity Softball Championship out there and got a chance to be around some of the players again.
Dude, it was a long week from, Akron every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday had the opportunity to go out to Classic Park, David Njoku Celebrity Softball game. Talk to Njoku a little bit about this new Browns offense, Chris. He sounds excited about the, potential of Kevin Stefanski and getting back to what worked with Joe Flacco, Gab Cruz.
Which is a lot of him because we don't have much in terms of wide receivers, right? So we're going to be a lot in Njoku, so I'm sure Njoku's probably excited about that, right?
I think he's a fan of that, and I think the last time that we saw that offense with Flacco and Stefanski kind of running it the way that Stefanski wanted it to run, things looked really good. So we got a little package from Gab Cruz, who was out there at the Njoku softball game as well.
Somebody who always uplifts you in the locker room or makes you laugh.
Njoku, 85. He's always joking around. He's just really himself. Like, he's just unique, and he keep 100% energy every day. So you never know what you're going to get from him.
I have to say Joe Flacco. Just from our past history and everything. I mean, he's one of the dudes, I guess people can say, you know what I mean? He knows how to blend in with our, just our culture, like our energy.
Greg Newsome. Definitely Greg Newsome. He's one of the funniest guys on the team, and he's one that's always going to pick you up if you're down.
Pick you up and make you laugh? Me. This guy got a lot of promise, too, also. He comes with a lot of energy, Shador. It's just his personality, man. He got a great personality, built for the camera, and he's also cool,
I enjoy life overall. It's been lit. Being able to meet a lot of different people. Whenever I got drafted here, he made sure, I was straight with everything. So
it's not a picture. Oh, you really got to get it together. But you are turning 99 and you did have eye surgery.
Performance-enhancing glasses?
A lot of things behind them, but mostly it's just to block out all the haters.
This is my first time playing baseball. I just practiced in the cage better than I expected, so hopefully I do good out here.
There you go.
I mean, it's awesome for especially this city that pretty much raised me, you know what I mean? So I'm very blessed to be here. I'm grateful, and it's an honor.
Such a fun time hanging out at Njoku Celebrity Softball game. Our friends at the Captains do such a good job trying to put that on every year. And they really were sweating it with the rain and stuff. And Shador with some of the speeding tickets early in the week. There were some rumblings on if he was going to come or not. So all is well that ends well. And it was great to see everybody had a great time out there.
And props to Shador for showing up because he was taking a lot of heat nationally for those speeding tickets. I know there were a lot of people having questions about him and his leadership and everything. It's nice to see him come, show up for a teammate here. I know it means a lot to David Njoku, and it's nice to see him out there. So good step there for Shador.
Packed show for you guys on Big Play Cleveland today. We're going to get you our Cleveland headlines presented by Fairway Ford. We're going to have our featured interview with professional eater Nick Weary.
That time of the year.
Garage Beer, getting ready for Nathan's Hot Dog. We're bringing the heat with Jensen Lewis as we do every week, presented by Northeast Factory Direct. We'll do a quick game of fill in the blank brought to you by Pure AV, and we'll wrap up the show with our Smart Choice segment brought to you by Smart Choice Windows and Baths. All that still ahead right here on Big Play Cleveland.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing, and same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com today.
Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland Show. Today's Cleveland headlines are brought to you by our friends at Fairway Ford.
Fairway Ford offers complete customization for any vehicle on the lot with their Fairway Black Label line. This series features custom upgrades like premium wheel and tire packages, a wide variety of level or lift kits, performance enhancements, and fully customized interior options. And every Fairway Black Label truck comes with Rhino spray-in bed liner. Whether you're looking for an aggressive off-road stance, a bold street presence, or a one-of-a-kind build, Fairway Black Label delivers. As a bonus, many of these upgrades can be financed for as little as 0% APR, depending upon the vehicle line. If you dream it, they can build it. Visit fairwayfordohio.com to explore their current Black Label inventory or give them a call to start designing yours today.
We'll be out there, the Big Factor crew, going out, taking that jaunt to Canfield later this week to go do a live show out there at Fairway Ford, see all of those trucks, all of those Broncos in real life. Chris, the Guardians came to life a little bit over the weekend when back-to-back series salvaged the West Coast trip. You feeling any better about our guards after these last couple games?
Go into a minor league stadium over the weekend with our minor league lineup and play pretty well, at least from the pitching standpoint. So it was good. You know, we were very worried going into this West Coast swing. It's always tough for us to see what the mettle is on this team, whether they can really stack up when they have to take a prolonged time out there on the road and on the West Coast. And they were able to, for the most part, do fairly well. I'm really excited about the pitching and, like you said, the starting pitching going deep into ball games that preserves our bullpen and really sets us up well, even if we're only scoring a few runs a game, which is kind of where we're at right now. But I tell you what, I'm a lot more positive this week coming back from the West Coast swing than what I was last week.
Yeah, and you look at this team right now, you know, they're 8.5 games as we record here on Monday behind the Detroit Tigers. The American League Central might be a difficult division to win, but for our Cleveland Guardians, there's still hope at that wild card. This is a big homestand. We're going to talk more guards with Jensen, but the All-Star voting is also going on, Chris. The MLB released the first update. Jose Ramirez currently leading all American League third baseman, very well deserved. Steven Kwan currently fourth among American League outfielders. Got to get it out there and vote for Steven Kwan. No other Guardians players are top 7 for their respective positions, Chris. Is that about what you expected?
Yeah, and that's what we talked about last week. We were expecting maybe a pitcher kind of falls into there, maybe a Cade Smith. You see somebody like that who ends up making this roster. But when you look at our lineup overall, really those two guys, it's either going to be Jose or it's going to be Steven Kwan, who's going to be hitting on a day-in, day-out basis. And both of those guys deserve the nod, and I'm glad that they're getting that attention. We talk about it, especially with Jose, about how underrated he is nationally, and it's great to see him get that kind of recognition from your average fan out there of the MLB.
We also got to throw a nod to Stephen Vogt, who was named part of the American League All-Star coaching staff. Aaron Boone with the Yankees inviting Voter to be on the bench for the All-Star game. He's taken a lot of heat from fans this season. I personally feel like a lot of that has been undeserved. Stephen Vogt's not in the batting lineup every night. That's really the problem with these Guardians. Is it starting to feel like already, Chris, that the reigning manager of the year is a little underappreciated by Guards fans this season?
Well, he's taking a lot of heat. There's a lot of people who are calling for his head right now, and which I was very surprised at. After our run last year as a first-year manager, now you're coming into your sophomore year, maybe a little bit of a sophomore slump. I know there's a lot of questions around his decision-making right now, but Nick, to be honest, where are the good options? He doesn't have a whole lot. These young guys aren't hitting the way that they're supposed to. I know there's been questions about the lineup, but there's only so many things that you can do with guys who aren't hitting. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the remainder of this season. Like you said, we're right in it for the wild card. So this is going to prove, what kind of a manager we have, if he's going to be able to deal with this adversity and get us to the next level. And I really have a lot of confidence in Voter. I think he can still do it. Like I said, this is his sophomore year, so I'm going to stick with him at this point, and we'll see what happens.
Agreed. Man. I'm candidly a little surprised that people are this down and out about Stephen Vogt. It feels like night in, night out, he puts out the lineup card and people are upset in some way, shape, or form. And you're upset about which position, which slot these minor league bats are in. Like, he doesn't have great options. And I think maybe we'll have a better opportunity to really evaluate Stephen Vogt once we get Chase DeLauder, CJ Kafis, Travis Bazzana, some of these big prospects that we're hoping will hit for our Guardians. We'll have way more Guardians talk to come with our Bringing the Heat segment with Jensen Lewis later in the show. We got to step aside. More Big Play Cleveland right after this.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Garage Beer. No bitterness, no frills, no IPA, just beer-flavored beer. Find local retailers who sell garage beer near you by visiting drinkgaragebeer.com.
Today's featured interview on the Big Play Cleveland Show is brought to you by our friends over at Garage Beer. We're lucky to be joined by Nick Weary, who's getting ready to compete in the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest. Those hot dogs probably sound a whole lot better with some Garage Beer. Perfect beer for any occasion. It's small batch, no frills, no bitterness, no IPAs. This is just beer that tastes like beer. The garage is always open with Garage Beer, and it's time to bring in a very special guest. Honestly, probably one of the most recurring guests in the history of the Big Play Cleveland Show. Number 6, I believe, competitive eater in the world, friend of show, Nick Weary. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm psyched to be back. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we obviously love chopping it up around this time of year, getting ready for that Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating competition. Where are we at in our training? Where are we at in our progress for this thing?
I feel good, man. I feel really good. You know, training has gone well. Been some bumps in the road, but that's all pretty normal. As far as like pacing to try to peak for the 4th of July, I feel pretty good. I have 2 more practices before, or at least 2, maybe 3, depending on how I feel, before the 4th. Fly out next Monday to New York. So I'm psyched.
And it looks like, at least for this year, it all kind of started here in Cleveland, right? You had your qualifier here in Cleveland that sent you off to the big show, right?
Yeah. I was out there at Parma Ribbon Rock, out there at the new location for that event, and did like a meet and greet with Nathan's. Went out there, did 47 and a half, did 48, but Sam deducted me half a hot dog because it's bun debris. So 47 and a half. So not a bad number. It was enough to win. You know, there's some pretty good eaters out there, and punch my ticket to Coney.
Man, that's incredible. Obviously, you've been up to Northeast Ohio now a couple times, just doing the competition circuit in order to qualify for Nathan's. What are your thoughts on the city now that you've gotten the opportunity to hang out here a couple times with us?
I love it, man. I love it. Even though everybody knows I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, everybody's still nice to me. And, it's super cool. Like when I'm out there, it's so welcoming, with you guys, and then like Tony from Dude Network and the guys from like Illegal Ham and all that. Like everybody out there is just so awesome. There's a few places when I travel and do contests that people are just really welcoming, and I seem to get a really good response. And Cleveland is definitely way up there. I would say like Cleveland and Buffalo and Pittsburgh, those 3 places, for one reason or another, they're like, we like this working class guy.
So you mentioned the Reds a little bit. What are your thoughts on Tito as your manager?
I love Tito. It's an interesting assortment of players. Like I think if Matt McClain hadn't had the year he had in years past, he wouldn't have put up with that stretch. He's got a 10-game hitting streak, and I think he's still hitting 210. And you got a guy like Ellie, who physically is maybe the most capable player in the league, but like he has trouble hitting above the Mendoza line. There's just a few players like Spencer Steer, apparently just like something happened where he forgot how to hit. So it's been an interesting year, and you hope guys like Andrew Abbott just don't get picked off by big market teams and a few other players. But I'd like to give Tito a couple more years. I'm hoping they don't just fire him or disassemble all of the young talent, as usually happens.
Right, you guys definitely are a team with a lot of young talent. Nick, we've been bringing you on Big Play Cleveland for so long, man. We remember, when you became a new dad and all of that. Now that your son's getting a little bit older, what does he think about watching dad pound 50 hot dogs in one sitting? Does he think that's pretty cool?
Oh man, that's it's pretty cool with all the kiddos. They're young enough to where dad doing this is still cool. I have a feeling in a handful of years of like, Dad, my friend saw you on YouTube. Stop. You need to stop what you're doing and retire. But as of right now, the contests are still cool. Like Max loves going up on stage because he gets a bigger ovation than any of us. By bringing him up there. So it's a lot of fun getting to travel and kind of do this as a family.
For the people that aren't familiar, we talked a little bit earlier about your training. For the people that might be new to Big Play Cleveland, for the people that might be watching us on the FanDuel Sports Network on TV, explain to the audience that's out there that this isn't some sort of like sideshow here. This is a true competition that you guys put months and months of work into your craft to be ready to go for the 4th of July. Just explain that process at a high level for our audience out there.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. What I've realized, anything done at a high level, that could be playing the piano, accounting, competitive eating, football, what have you. At the very highest level, there's an immense amount of work that nobody sees. And you will win or lose the contest long before you're on the corner of Surf and Stillwell on the 4th of July. So you're not going to roll out of bed and eat 50 or 60 hot dogs or, 250 chicken wings or 320 slices of cheese in 8 to 10 minutes. Like, you're just going to... So what we do is we practice like we play. Like, one, I have to stay lean, so I keep myself in reasonable shape, year round by training 5 to 7 days a week in the gym. My diet's extremely exact, basically about 6 days a week, usually 9 out of 10 days actually. And then we, this weekend I'll definitely be cooking up, probably 60 hot dogs, 5 to a plate, have my Dunkin' liquids, have my drinking liquids, put some time on the clock and then just go. In 95-degree Tampa weather with nobody cheering for you, just in the backyard. So
that's incredible, man.
That's dedication right there.
Big time dedication. The big story coming into this year, and I'm sure everybody's asking you about it, is Joey Chestnut and his return to the competition. Are you expecting him to come back hungrier than ever after last year's ban?
I am, yeah. I don't think when you're when you're somebody at the level of anything like Joey is, I don't think you want to just come back and just put up a fluff performance. I think the only way you come back is like knowing that you're going to do really well. And it's great as a competitor. It's a gift and a curse to have Joey back, because obviously Joey's outstanding. I think what people lose sometimes is Joey's kind of like the Barry Bonds of what we do. There's those year where Barry's like hitting 360 with 73 homers, but the funny thing in what we do is if I'm the Ken Griffey Jr. hitting 50 homers or 56 homers, and people are like, oh, you only ate 56. I never heard somebody say that to Ken Griffey Jr. hitting 56 bombs, or like Sammy Sosa hitting 60, 61 when McGuire hit 70. They were never like, oh, you only do this. I think it's because we're only on TV maybe that once a year that people lose sight of the fact that what Joey does is outstanding and he's a generational talent. But there is an immense amount of talent and hard work on that stage. And if somebody wants to say you only ate 50 hot dogs, then you come do it and take my check and see how easy it
is. Well said. I love it.
So having said that, any chance you take him down this year?
There's always a chance. I don't do contests unless I think there's a chance I can win. There's no point. I think I told you this to you guys the first time I ever did an interview. It's like there's people who compete to be better than themselves. That's not why you compete. You practice to be better than yourself. That's great. If it's, I just want to get better, like enjoy your 10th place magenta participation trophy. That's not what I'm there for. You play to win the game.
Yes.
So I go into every contest with maybe does he have the highest top end? Like, is he the best ever? Sure. But that said, like Michael Beasley and LeBron James will still lose one-on-one games. You go in there with the intent of putting up your best performance. I can't play defense, but I can put up an awesome performance and kind of see how it goes.
Do you have a number in mind this year that you're going for?
It's tough, man, because practice can range a lot, and you're trying to get your body to cooperate with something. So, you definitely want to be north of 50, and I know that's there. And I think with a perfect run, you'd like to get into that elite. I think, let's see, Joey, Matt, Kobe. I think 4 guys ever hit 60 in the history of what we do. So, like, that's a number where it's like, you'd really like to get to that number and just get to that point where it's like there's less than half a dozen people in the history of the contest that have done it. So we'll see how body cooperates on the 4th.
Nick, I know we've asked you this before as well, but how long does it take for you to actually get hungry again after competing in this competition every year?
Oh, man, that's tough, man. I'll get very, very thirsty after the contest, but as far as like hunger signaling, probably midday the next day, roughly about 24 hours, because we compete around noon.
Yeah.
So roughly 24 hours. But what I'll do is intentionally probably stick with water and then maybe like sugar-free popsicles and maybe some easy to digest stuff like protein shakes and what have you, just to kind of get my digestive tract to be like, all right, let's start moving everybody along here. But it's definitely immediately afterwards, between the adrenaline and the pounds and pounds of hot dogs and buns in my stomach, I'm not super hungry.
It is such a spectacle anymore, what they put on up there. What is it like to be a competitor up there when you get introduced to that huge crowd? You know you're on national TV. What is that like for you from your perspective?
It's surreal. Like the first time, it definitely got to me. The first year I ever did it, it was so much. Because like the stage shakes when everybody cheers and you're going across, and you're at the big dance, so to speak. And ESPN does their thing with the production, and it's now it's evolved over the years for me personally into trying to harness all of that. Because as you can imagine, like Joey gets a huge response. Obviously, Miki gets a huge response. And most people are there cheering for the current champions. And some people are screaming horrific things at you, as you can imagine. And you try to feed off that, like really harness it, the energy of, 20,000 people. And then just, I look at my dunking liquids, I look at the hot dogs, I make sure I have everything squared away. And then you try to just Kevin Costner clear the mechanism. And just everybody disappears. And me personally, you just try to go to a place where it's like it's rhythmic chaos. It sounds really weird, but it's kind of like there's so much going on, but you just try to find a rhythm and not hear anything until really the countdown.
Man, that is phenomenal. We are pulling for our guy, Nick Weary, to crush it this year at the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest, qualified right here in Northeast Ohio at Parma's Ribbon Rock. Nick, we appreciate your, loyalty to Big Play. We appreciate your friendship, and getting you up here in Northeast Ohio has been phenomenal. Thanks so much for popping on the Big Play Cleveland Show again.
Dude, you guys are awesome. I genuinely appreciate it every time, and the support means a bunch, man. You guys have been there since my beginning too, so I genuinely appreciate it.
We're pulling for you. It feels like really Northeast Ohio's own Nick Weary competing out there 4th of July.
Cleveland, this is for you. That's coming on the 4th. Let's go.
Follow at Nick Weary. We'll be back with more Big Play Cleveland right after this.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Infinity. Luxury experiences for those who dare to be different. Visit infinityofbeechwood.com today.
Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland Show. It's time for Bringing the Heat, brought to you by our friends over at Northeast Factory Direct. Whether you're remodeling your kitchen, updating your furniture, freshening up that patio, and boy, it's hot outside, or looking for a new mattress, Northeast Factory Direct is the place for you. There's no fancy showrooms. There's no high-pressure, pushy salespeople. Just great quality items at unbelievable prices. And it gets even better for our listeners. My text messages have been blowing up with people that I know saying that they're using the Big Play bonus. My DMs are blowing up on Twitter with people that I don't know saying that they're using the Big Play bonus. People are getting hooked up on their furniture this summer, and that's exactly what Northeast Factory Direct wants to do for you. Go check them out in store. Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, North Canton. When you're shopping in store, when you're getting ready to check out, ask for that Big Play bonus. You're going to save yourself a couple bucks at checkout, and you're going to thank us later. We bring in Jensen Lewis for Bringing the Heat to break down our Cleveland Guardians, as we do each and every week. This week we're starting things off a little bit differently, Jensen, because you were regretfully informed us at the start of logging you on, setting up your shot, that you had a historically bad golf beat this weekend.
Again, and beggars can't be choosers here, guys. There's been opportunities where I've been the beneficiary. I would say this NHL postseason, I hit more puck lines with like a second left of the empty net goals than maybe I deserve to get. Nice. So perhaps this little regression to me. I had Tommy Fleetwood 18-1 to win the Travelers, and as monumental a collapse. Very similar to how the British lost the Revolutionary War to the Americans, as you well know. So it was just remarkable to see Keegan Bradley come back and do what he did. Hopefully, an omen of things to come for the Ryder Cup here in September.
Jensen, the starting pitchers have really seemed to turn it on for our guards here, and I think that's why we've been able to see a little bit of success over the past week, combined for 19 scoreless innings in each of their most recent starts. What's really changed with some of these guys here?
Yeah, and Nick, and here, back-to-back series victories, a great way to end a pretty long 3-team road trip. So a job well done by the group. And you mentioned it, when you get quality starting pitching, life is a lot easier. And I think for me, it's not reinventing the wheel here, guys. Staying out of the big part of the plate and pitching ahead in the majority of counts. And you really force the hitters to have to beat you in multiple ways. So yeah, appreciate where these guys have bounced back a bit. I know we've talked about it at length, guys. This has been probably outside of the middle to back of the offense, the most disappointing part, or maybe the most inconsistent part of this club. Yet here they are, a couple of games over 500. So if you were to tell me that they'd be second to last in walks per 9, the rotation that is, they'd be bottom third in homers per 9 allowed, they'd be bottom third in WHIP, yet they still have their head above water with an offense that's been bottom third in many of the major categories, I think you'd have to take it. I mean, it's just remarkable to see what this group has done, even in the face of a lot of early adversity.
So we've seen Nick Kurtz over the weekend a little bit, and some of these other young guys who the Guardians had passed on. We got Travis Bazzana still kind of working things out down there in the minors. What are the expectations going forward? When do you think he may be up, and why is it taking a little bit longer than some of these other guys who the Guardians passed on?
Chris, is a great question. And usually with these kind of ballyhooed prospects, and especially the number 1 overall selection, there will be no rushing of Travis Bazzana, because he will be a focal point for this group as early, potentially, as next year. And I think more importantly, you look at guys like Chase DeLauder coming back, and Kafis, and, starting to get maybe a little bit of manifest destiny where, all right, something has to go their way from a prospect standpoint, and even more so from a bigger prospect standpoint. So I know we've talked, guys, a lot in the past few weeks about, just if the DeLauder had been healthy with the way he was going in spring training, man, what a boost this could have been. Better late than never, right? And hopefully this time around is where he can not only continue to stay healthy, but eventually join the big league club.
Another guy we're looking forward to is Shane Bieber for a different reason. Any updates right now on him and his progress to get back with the club?
Getting through the rehab, right? And just continuing to check off those things that you need to, those checkpoints that allow you to take those next steps, extend the pitch count. And guys, at this point, it's all about the routine, right? The recovery and how everything bounces back. We probably won't know until he's out there and he lets go of that first, pitch in the big league mound with all the emotion, all the adrenaline, but fingers crossed that everything stays the way the club wants it, and more importantly, the player as well.
Jensen, I've been calling Slade Ciccone the great Italian hope. This dude's just been on fire, really seemingly from day one. What, from a pitcher standpoint, what has made him so dominant to start his MLB career here with our guards?
A little more throwback, right? And you nailed it, Nick. The last couple of weeks, not only the best starting pitcher on the Guardians roster, but maybe one of the best in all of big league baseball, just from the statistics alone. And, just again, when you attack the strike zone, when you have really good late life on your fastball, and then also you're able, as we said before, when you pitch ahead in the count and you can go to a lot of your off-speed weapons, boy, it makes life a lot easier. So again, we talk about, maybe some apprehension with the Josh Naylor trade and what you would lose in the middle of the lineup with him. Slade Ciccone was a guy that was going to get an opportunity. And now all of a sudden it feels like the last couple of weeks, things have come together, and that is great news for this Guardians rotation.
So right now there are 7 teams within 2.5 games of the wild card right now in the AL. Out of that group, where would you rank the Guardians and their chances of maybe grabbing that last spot?
Okay, so as we kind of begin the week, guys, the Mariners now having to try and run down the Astros out there in the West, and I do think that continues to be a 2-team race. Maybe Texas jumps in on that, just a couple of games behind Seattle and Cleveland for that final wild card spot. I think the teams you have to worry about are the 2 front runners right now, Tampa Bay and Toronto. And again, we get a front row seat here with the Blue Jays this week. You'll get to see Max Scherzer come back, I believe, off the IL as well. Tampa just quietly ascends here, and I think they are doing what Kevin Cash has really been able to implement with this group for the last handful of seasons. Get great starting pitching, be getting timely hitting. They're athletic. Toronto, in similar fashion, has gotten outstanding work from their rotation. They're finally getting the top of this lineup and their studs and Bo Bichette and Vladdy Jr. to swing the bat well. And then old friend guys, who knew that Ernie Clement, would have to be a contributor for them. And he really has been. So what a great series. What a great homestand here for Cleveland to kind of figure out where they're at.
Alrighty, Jensen, it's that time of the week, the Northeast Factory direct question of the week. Saw some chatter on social media earlier Monday about the Guardians potentially being buyers at the MLB trade deadline. Maybe a reunion with Josh Naylor if the Arizona Diamondbacks continue to slide. That might be a little bit crazy, but if they end up buying at the deadline, what do you think the Guardians' top priority should be?
The easy answer, guys, is offense, right? And if you look around the American League overall, I think that's the area in which you certainly want to be able to go toe-to-toe, with a Tigers team, a Yankees team, an Astros. You don't need a boatload of bats here. You do need a couple, and I don't think we're need to be rocket scientists to figure that out. I'm anxious to kind of see where the rotation is overall. Probably by the time we get to the All-Star break and with a couple of weeks remaining before the deadline there, because if you do get this kind of continuity, the way that Ciccone and now Bybee and Gavin Williams are throwing turn in and turn out, Ortiz, here has actually been overall pretty good. The Shane Bieber edition, maybe just what the doctor ordered. So anxious to see where this club is when we get to the Midsummer Classic.
Okay, one more question, Jensen. We just had the NBA Finals last night. Cavs now going into next season, are they the favorites in the East?
I tell you what, Chris, with now the injury to Halliburton likely lost for all of next season, the topography of the Eastern Conference is very flat. I don't think there's a lot of separation between the top teams. What will Boston do with the Tatum injury? Of course, the Knicks don't have a head coach yet. What does Milwaukee do? Do they keep Giannis? And are the Sixers actually going to get a healthy Embiid to contribute there? And what will he look like with the Tyrese Maxey coming out last year as a stud? Fellas, it's like a 6-team race already. Yeah. We're not even into the real throes of the NBA offseason. So yes, as currently constructed, slight favorite, the Cavaliers in the East.
Man, he truly can do it all. Visit By the Book co-host Jensen Lewis. Make sure to go throw him some love on social at JLew50. Thanks again to our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. Check them out at their great locations, Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, North Canton. Remember to ask about that extra special Big Play bonus. We'll be back with more Bringing the Heat with Jensen Lewis next week. More Big Play Cleveland right after this.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Pure AV, luxury home automation. Experience your dream smart home by visiting pureavcorp.com.
Welcome on back into the Big Play Cleveland Show. It's time for our fill in the blank game presented to you by our friends at Pure AV. Summer is the perfect time to go check out the showroom at Pure AV because you want to get your setup perfect for this football season. The product on the field for the Browns might not be that pretty, but with Pure AV, they could sure make your home theater look beautiful. They specialize in service, installation, a variety of smart home technologies. They could help you with the perfect sports watching setup with their high-performing audio and video displays. They truly do it all. If you're unhappy with your current setup, Pure AV will even come in and fix the work of their competitors to make sure their setup is in fact exactly how you envision. They want it to be exactly what you wanted. If you're worried about keeping a clean interior, they offer hidden audio and video options to help keep that elegant look without sacrificing your favorite tech. They truly do it all. Go visit them, pureavcorp.com, but go check out their showroom. Tell them Big Play sent you, because when you go check out that showroom in Akron, you're not going to want to leave. You're going to understand that they could truly make you have the dream sports man cave for this upcoming football season. Go check them out, pureavcorp.com. Chris, Kevin Durant was traded this week to the Houston Rockets, the Cavs being named a wild card suitor for Kevin Durant is blank.
I think that's expected. from a Dan Gilbert organization, you're always going to be looking for ways to improve no matter what that dollar amount looks like and no matter what that looks like for the team, because I think he's one of those guys, and he didn't make billions of dollars by sitting on his hands, and he sees the opportunity that he thinks, this could potentially make this team better and bring us to the next level. We're so close right now. Best team regular season-wise in the East last year, right there in the playoffs. What's going to get us over that hump? And if he thinks that's out there, then this team's going to go after it and try to add those pieces.
Yeah, I think it's significant that the Cavs were in on Kevin Durant, because especially named a wild card suitor. To me, that means they did more than just due diligence. They were trying to make the biggest splash in the NBA, and that's before Tyrese Halliburton's injury. I think the Cavs understand that they have an opportunity in a championship window that's wide open in this Eastern Conference, that's not going to have Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics next year. Now it's not going to have Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. The Cavs are sitting very pretty when you look at their championship window. So I think it's a good thing that the Cavs called on Kevin Durant. I don't think this core four is safe anymore. The fact that they were willing to make calls and maybe shuffle up this young group for a 36, 37-year-old Kevin Durant leads me to believe that the Cavs could be open for business. All right, if the NBA season started today, the Cavs would be blank best team in the Eastern Conference.
We just played the NBA Finals. We're already playing this game. This is going to be a long off season. And as for the regular season, I wish we could just simulate it now. I want to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I think we are the best regular season team in the East. I think we're going to end up being number one once again, and then we're going to have a replay of this year. So I'm excited to get to the playoffs next year. I'm not very excited about all the offseason talk about where do the Cavs stack up, where do you think we are, because I think we are number one. I'd like to see some moves here in the offseason, but ultimately, I just want to get to the playoffs next year, Nick.
On FanDuel Sportsbook, the Cavs are the favorite, plus 270 to win the Eastern Conference. They have the second best odds in the NBA to win the NBA Finals. I really think that's absent of other options. It's because the New York Knicks weren't as good in the regular season as the Cavs. The Orlando Magic are trying to make some moves, but they're still not as good or as mature as these Cleveland Cavaliers right now. I'm with you, Chris. I want to simulate the rest of the regular season because none of this matters. The playoffs are what's going to matter for our Cavs next year, and it feels like next postseason is truly make or break. It's truly do or die for this group, and if they can't get it done next year in the playoffs, then they might have some tough questions on their hands.
And it's one of those times in Cleveland sports, and this always only happens so often with our teams, where you have that magical expectations that are put upon you. And that's where the Cavs are at right now. We've got expectations for this team. So now what happens? How do they respond next year? The expectations aren't in the regular season. The expectations are a title next year. And we got to see whether this team can respond.
Shifting gears, the Guardians played in a minor league stadium in Sacramento over the weekend. Blank is one sports stadium you would want to attend a game at, Chris.
Oracle Park. I've never been out there. That would be fantastic. McCovey Cove. We saw, last week when the Guardians were playing them, we saw some Guardians fans that were out there in kayaks, and they had the flags out there. So that looks like just a tremendous amount of fun. Just a beautiful ballpark, beautiful weather out there. So that would be a lot of fun to take in a game out there.
Alrighty, other fun things going on this week. The Njoku celebrity softball game was a ton of fun. Blank is the Cleveland athlete you would pick to win a home run derby, and you can't name a Guardians player.
I know he's a big Mets fan, but Donovan Mitchell, right? He's a big baseball guy, so I would assume him being the athlete that he is, he could probably hit a baseball pretty good, so I'm going to go with Donovan.
When I was out there, Donovan didn't participate in the Njoku softball game this year, but last season, I believe he participated, and Chris, he was hitting them not over the little dinky softball fence that they put up for these guys, not over the Clippers home run fence, in single A baseball. He was hitting them absolutely all the way out of the park. We were out at the Firestone Country Club this past weekend. Chris, who is your dream Cleveland sports golf foursome?
I mean, if we were going to go with current players right now, I'd have like Jose Ramirez, Donovan Mitchell, Myles Garrett, just to be around those guys and play. But if I was really having fun with it,
an all-time,
if I was even thinking about current players right now, who would be fun to play with? Austin Hedges would be a blast, right? We've had him in studio. He's a lot of fun. Tristan Thompson would be a lot of fun, I'm sure, out there. Plus, he's an NBA champion. He's got that breed. And also Shedeur Sanders. I think he'd be interesting to play golf with. And plus, you already have your built-in media there. You wouldn't have to worry about bringing big play cameras. Shedeur would bring all that stuff. So I think that'd be a fun foursome to play with.
That is a great foursome. Special thanks to our friends over at Pure AV. Make sure to check them out, pureavcorp.com. We'll be back with more Big Play Cleveland straight ahead.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Smart Choice Windows. Energy-efficient products at an affordable price. Visit smartchoicewindows.com today.
Welcome on back. Our Big Play Cleveland Show is proud to be brought to you by Smart Choice Windows and Smart Choice Baths. Have you been thinking about upgrading your home this summer? Then look no further than Smart Choice Windows and Smart Choice Baths. They currently have a great deal going on for all of you sports fans out there. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. It gets even better. They're offering 0% financing for 24 months, or if you prefer, they also have a no down payment option with monthly payments as low as $199. Some restrictions do apply, but if your bathroom needs an upgrade, the same great team at Smart Choice Baths has you covered. They're offering $1,500 off a brand new shower or tub. So if you've been putting off that remodel, you've been taking a lot of showers because it's so hot outside, now's the perfect time to go for it. If you're ready for quieter, more energy efficient windows or a bathroom that finally works for your life, make the call. Dial 440-WINDOWS or head over to smartchoicewindows.com and smartchoicebaths.com to schedule your free no pressure estimate today. They'll come out for free. They'll get you right with an estimate. Smart Choice Windows, Smart Choice Baths. Pick up that call, pick up that phone, give them a call today. Chris, I'm going to give you a situation. You got to tell me what the smart choice would be. The MLB trade deadline next week. The smart choice would be to be buyers or sellers, stand pat at the deadline. You got to give me one of those options.
I think we're mostly going to stand pat, and I think that's probably part of the design right now. What they're trying to do is get the young guys some at-bats. You don't really want to bring in a bat that is going to be a rental that's going to stand in front of some of these young guys getting their at-bats. One of the things, though, I would like to see, I think you got to move on Class A. At this point, I think his value is very high. You've still got a couple of years of club control, which other teams would like. And I think you could get a lot for Emmanuel Clase in the market. And that would be one that I would be interested in seeing the Guardians pursue.
I'm with you. I hate to say it. I think the Guardians should sell. I think that's the smart thing to do. I'd sell Clase, but that's not that bad of a thing because you're selling Clase. You're going to get something back from him, and that's clearing the way for Cade Smith, who we all believe is ready to be the closer for this baseball team. The Browns wide receiver room, once again, leaves something to be desired. The smart choice, Chris, would either be A, to pull off that patented Andrew Berry wide receiver trade for a guy like Jerry Jeudy or Amari Cooper. B, bring in a free agent like Keenan Allen, Gabe Davis, Tyler Boyd. Or C, keep the room as is and hope that Cedric Tillman and Jamari Thrash could step above the noise.
This next season is all about development. Development for the quarterbacks, development for the wide receivers. And I think that's what they're going to do, is try and develop in-house all these wide receivers. You can always add a free agent later on, especially at the wide receiver position. I don't think you pull the trigger on a trade. You've got Jerry Jeudy already. I think they're trying to find out what else they may have. Andrew Berry, unfortunately, hasn't been very good, as we all know, at drafting wide receivers, but I think they still want to give a shot to these young guys to try and show what they've got.
And I want to see more Jamari Thrash. That's a young man that we've had here in studio.
You've talked a lot about him. You've been banging the drum for him for
I really
a while.
think that there's a great football player in there, and I want to see him get those opportunities. So I am with you. I'm cool standing pat in this receiver room. It's about developing these guys, and you got to get them on the field in order to develop them. All right, NBA draft is this week. The Cavs have the 49th and 58th pick. Nothing too sexy deep down there in the second round. Chris, the smart choice on draft night would be to use those picks to trade away some salary players, to use those picks and hope you get lucky on a second round guy, or who cares? They're late picks, and the guys are never going to play for these Cavs regardless.
Hey, we got Shadur at 144, right? No problem here. No, I'd like to go out and get a bruiser, somebody who's going to be there in practice, just toughening up these guys. You were saying before the show, go to a local prison, wherever we need to get somebody in here just to toughen us up. I don't care if they play for the Canton Charge. I don't care if they develop in the organization. I want to see them out there in practice, down there low on the block and beating the heck out of us so that we can be ready for the playoffs next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fun NBA draft. The one thing about the NBA, it's the best sitcom in all of sports. So buckle in for that draft. You know Cooper Flagg is going to go 1, but something tells me something bizarre could happen, and I hope Kobe Altman's got that cell phone ready. Huge thanks to our friends over at Smart Choice Windows and Smart Choice Baths. Make sure to pick up that phone and give them a call today. Make sure to tell them that Big Play sent you. They'll come out, get you a free estimate on your windows, get you a free estimate on your baths, and get your home ready to go this summer. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Big Play Cleveland Show. You could stream us on demand in that free Big Play Sports Network app. We'll be back right here next week. Until then, we'll see you.